Good afternoon. The time almost just reached to 12. We'll get to be on time today. You know, an interesting topic. Anything with us mostly start, I can look for follow through. Now this make a poisonous, now this make a bad, in my own art or craft. Anything what they do, how they follow through. I'm not gonna start a topic. I know give a foundation or a small history. That means I know they do my job right. We just talk about Pantap. What about what's in the under? Or what's not ignites the issues there? Or why make the issues there to take place? Or the histories that them places there, what's that then conflicts that they arise? So we'll get deep things there for conversate this afternoon. Good afternoon to one once more. And first and foremost, who want to start? The main point I also want to eat. What's in they affect Africa? Don't they affect Africa for long? We not say poverty is sickness, but not to that. And then grudge they are, what would they keep? The grudge. Africa don't be demented, with grudge. All the conflicts with they arise inside Africa now about grudge. Now this is not the foundation. Something happened before where another tribe or another race or ethnic groups they try for payback. Now let me hit the pointers then. Let me get to the point. We don't want to delay and want to make sure see people in come for land. So if you're not a student, you love history, I got advice you let you take pen and paper. And if you listen to previous episodes them, while I be discuss, I go and make sure say you try for coordinates what they can give you. Because that's how they try for make you do. So eventually if we talk about any other issues in the foreseeable future, you go understand what's up with it and the trend. So first and foremost, I want to start with Kenya. Even though not today the threats or the battle arise at this moment, but stay back don't become involved into this chaos. I want to start with Kenya. A small history which I pick up. And some of my own sense them back what go add to the history tales there. They say now cohistic, speakers. Cohistic speakers. But the C-U-S-H-I-T-I-C. C-U-S-H-I-T-I-C. Cohistic people. Or cohistic speakers. And now, let me hit the main in totals. Cohistic speakers, I'm not going to know exactly which language is that, but one thing I can modify and tell you is that this now be also mixed people them from different places them with different languages them. Now let me continue. Then first settled inside Kenya, now the lowlands between 3,200 years ago. So we can accumulate that to 1,300 BCs. Before Christ ever existed. This place be there, then people there be they exist, and they be the inhabits this land. And this phase or this time also they be known as the Neolithic, people. The Neolithic people. In previous episode, I be don't discuss small about there were ancients there. The Neolithic people, not so the cave people anymore, caveman. They don't become more knowledgeable. Now farmers them, now traders them, now migrants them, now cattle, growers them or cattle owners them, or farming. Because we talk of cattle, now farming, still considered as farming. So this now people also will be to do trade. The Neolithic people. But civilization not be really kind to existence it. But not be the process. So let me continue. Around 500 BC, the Kenyan Neolithic speakers, first we start with Cohistic don't amalgamate to the Neolithic speakers, they began for migrate. Who side them come out from? And this what they try for see. They began for migrate to side. The present day, who side what they call South Sudan. So what's in history they try for tell we, you know, them people that are inside Kenya, no not originated from Kenya. They migrate come out from South Sudan. All what they can talk soon, for long I know see now the same people them, they fed themselves all this time. But let me continue. So they migrate from South Sudan come into Kenya. Once they come into Kenya, the Europeans them, they start to build a relationship or get a contact with them people there around the 1500s AD. 1500s AD. After the death of Christ. So people them they exist inside Kenya, the Africans them, they'll be more specific, around 1300 BC, before Christ ever existed. Then the white man now, they can get a contact with the Kenyans them, the 1500s AD, after the death of Christ. A very long time span. A very long time span. This is how much Africa gets a long history. Now let me continue. Once they do that, this contact also it be affiliated with the Portuguese. The contact with the Europeans them affiliated with the Portuguese. And one thing I want to know before I continue for hits the in totals, before all this, you know, protectorates business start, where they can begin to colonize we. The Portuguese them will be the first individuals to maybe they discover the world. So then gets for see the world, further off the world, and sell the message to the Europeans or the Americans them. At first it was the Europeans them. So most of them placed there with the Europeans they go colonize as a protectorate. And be a reference from the Portuguese. I make people believe in that. You know? So, and it become effectively colonized, you know? Kenya become effectively colonized in the 19th century. In the 19th century, they effectively colonized Kenya. Once they don't come in contact with Kenya through the partnership of the Portuguese. Now, let me continue. The present day Kenya emerge, then come out from the protectorate establishment by the British Empire when? In 1952. They emerge, then let loose, then come out, then set themselves free, then become exonerated from the claws of the Europeans in 1952, based on several disputes and maybe they take place and within the country or during that protectorate. That's what we want to put on. So again, they start a revolution around 1952. You know, the disputes between the UK and the Mau Mau Revolution with the Mau Mau Revolution. The people of Kenya, the inhabitants of the land. You know? So this revolution come about, you know, and in 1963, Kenya gets the independence. After, Salo gets it, because again, if I write 61, they will get to independence, 1961. But Kenya then gets in 1963. Based on a conflict with the UK and the Mau Mau Revolution. Now we don't hit Kenya. We're not coming for talk about cool, just so I make you understand small. You know? Would they also colonize them people there? And what's really the going? Now Uganda. Lord we touch Uganda. Before that we talk of the countries there where get the conflict. 1894. The area also inside Uganda was a protectorate area, you know, ruled by the United Kingdom. A protectorate area ruled by the United Kingdom. Uganda gained independence from the UK the 9th of October 1962. Again, Salon we get independence before Uganda and Kenya. Small country Salon. So God be just blessed we earlier. Even though we could be getting a small revolution, you know, the hunt tax. Some of you know our history. When I know that's make the revolution arise inside Salon. The hunt tax, they begin to increase, it be massive, and people then begin to rebel inside Sierra Leone. But let me continue. Which also led to Baibure, you know, for becoming prison. And then sent all the way going to the Gold Coast, Ghana, for go serving time. You know. But Salon gets independence before Baibure become released. You know. So let me continue. So since the period where they obtain independence, Uganda, the world don't mark them as a violent, conflicting state. The world don't mark them as a violent, conflicting state, including a 8 years long military dictatorship led by Idi Amin, a dictator. We've been into power for about 8 years. Idi Amin. And we know the relationship now with Idi Amin and the Europeans still. We know what Idi Amin do inside Uganda. For that matter, it drive for all the white money. It pull all them business in their hand. It makes sure say empowering people them. But Idi Amin be corrupt. We say Idi Amin be really there for him people them if I don't be a good president. But him back be very tribal. Based on grudge and sentiment. You know? So Idi Amin be totally there against the Europeans, or the American, I be anti-European and American. And up to now, that grudge they with the Europeans them, based on the embarrassment who Idi Amin creates for them. Publicly, the whole world see. So again, grudge now a major factor on most of them where they are, the war they take place in the world. Now let me continue. Idi Amin in time don't. You know, I don't know what's happening with Idi Amin. You know, I didn't pull out. So Rwanda. Now look, enter inside Rwanda. Look when I small inside Rwanda. You know? The colonial powers, again Germany and with that, Belgium. There be other colonial forces than this. Not to just the UK. But all them countries, they are Belgium, Germany, France, etc. They don't become a protectorate. You know, now most of the African countries there. Now let me continue. And what happened? They become allied or partner with the Rwanda court based on administrative. And before that take place, Rwanda be to make progress. Rwanda be to make progress. They be get administrative. They be get, you know, some sort of a government. So the colonial masters, they see that, and they say they'll become partner with them. Eventually colonize them. You know, as a protectorate. So now let me continue. And as time progressed, the convergence of the anti-colonials there and the anti-Tutsi system. The anti-Tutsis, the anti-colonials. Colonial. So what do they try for say now? Let's put this paper down smaller when I understand. Because if I just Iban Suguna, I'm not going to pick sense. Inside Rwanda, they beget, once they don't become, they don't colonize them under the protectorate, then can the people then become rebellious against two sets of groups them. Two sets of groups them. The colonials them and the Tutsi people them. And at this issue now still arise inside Rwanda. And this issue still arises inside Rwanda, where still they create this conflict and the DRC. Grudge. Or something don't take place. It's not easy for the end. I make more time for take time the kind of war we start. You know? So again, then Tutsis people there don't become a problem inside Rwanda. whether or not they originated inside Rwanda, but the Rwanda people do not consider them as part of Rwandans. They marginalized them. And this creates the civil conflict inside Rwanda. But let me continue to get this thing going. You know, and how again how they elaborate this now the media and some things to be they read. Now African sentiment. Just an African sentiment. The most useless thing the woman for consider or concern about. Now it manifests about state today. Sentiment. So let me continue. And then it don't result. And what's in that results to? Rwanda not even fought too much for getting independence. Now the conflict will be there inside Rwanda between the Hutsis and the Tutsis people. The colonial masters and they look at me and say, "Would they withdraw? Una get problem." You know, we expect maybe when I go rebel small against we, even though they be they rebel, but they be they rebel more against themselves. They be they fight themselves more than the colonial masters them. So what's the colonial masters then do? Then pull out. So we don't mix by this shenanigan. We don't mix by this nonsense. You know, before people in back and die now for that thing. So they pull out. They pull out and Rwanda gets the independence around 1962. 1962, now they didn't get the independence. Again, Salon gets the independence, 1961. So we don't talk of Uganda, where we get independence before. We don't talk of Kenya, where we get to independence before. Now, we don't talk of Rwanda. You know, Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda. Salon big pass, they all we can to win independence. But look what they say today. Look what they say today. So, once they received the independence in 1962, what happened? A direct election came about. It came about, and the dominance of this election now based on the Hutu people there, Hutu, and they become more dominant. You know, I guess the population be more large, and they become victorious under the president Gregory. You know. So let me continue. And while Gregory be the served or during in tenure, conflict and be still inside Rwanda. Again, inside Rwanda. That make sure I don't mistake the country name. You know, the information for go direct. We want to make sure it become effective. You know. So tensions and stability take place inside Rwanda. Well, Gregory don't become a president. A Hutsu by tribe. Will be the thing say that could stop the conflict. But no. What's happened? Another Hutsu man, another leader again come and overthrow. He overthrow. And this man name, you know, now a well famous artist also we get in the States, Juvenile. Now his name Juvenile. And I've been listening from this guy Juvenile taking name from. So most of the aspirants so we can see to the artists them. Most of them names that they can take. Now ancient African leaders them. You know, for push the African business go before. You know. So this guy will go take over from Gregory. I named Juvenile. And Juvenile, another Hutu, you know, by tribe. So it seized power in 1973. It seized power in 1973. What's happened when it seized power? One Hutu leader don't come, Gregory, conflict still arise. Juvenile don't come, conflict still arise. Well, inside 1990, what happened? The RPF, not to the RUF, the RPF, the Rwanda Patriotic Front, you know, then composed of a group of 10,000, you know, man strong. 10,000 man strong, you know, of Tutsis. Tutsis. We don't get two presidents there inside Rwanda after independence. We're not Hutu people there. Now, they don't marginalize them Tutsi people there for so long that them back down create 10,000 man strong for rebel, for go against government. Now, let me continue. They invade the country. And when I know of the massacre will take place. They invade the country. And one of the worst massacres also in Africa. Yeah. You know? So they invaded the country. Civil war escalate. You know. And what's happened? The war ground become more worsened. The ethnic tension become again more worse. You know, it arise. And the Hutu people them, they fear say, you know, they don't lose all what they don't labor for, which is Rwanda, because they feel like saying they get Rwanda. Then Hutu people there, or Hutu people there, Hutu. They feel like saying they get Rwanda. They don't marginalize the Tutsi people there for so long. Then come with 10,000 men strong and invade, you know, the country, take over, and now the other one they are now they panic. You know, they panic. So let me continue, and that take place inside Rwanda until they bring about peace. When they bring about peace, they try for foster change. The American man and the whole team, or the Europeans and the whole team, for mediate the issue, for try for make sure say they go forget about this grudge. Now that's make more the Europeans and spend capitals them for develop Rwanda, for make them forget about this grudge will take place between the Hutsis and the Tutsis. But they forget about her? No. Because they like today, the M23 them, what's in the Rwanda they claim, the M23 rebels stay inside the DRC, then partner with the Tutsi system. So now what still they take place? So that means we enemies they don't go partner with DRC for conflict. Common sense. So now push to Congo. You know, we'll go elaborate more for us see more clear. Congo now then gained their independence from Belgium again in 1960. I guess better than Salon before Salon. 1 year before Salon. You know, then gained their independence in 1960. Congo. You know, from 1971 to 1997, the name be officially changed to the Republic of Zaire. This Congo they talk of so. The DRC. They may change the name to Zaire. Would that change the name? Well, another dictator, you know, another authoritative African leader, you know, another lost child, what we can call Mobutu. You know, Mobutu, I want to know Mobutu in history as well. Be ruthless. So maybe satanic. But people let me just be the intelligent side of her. But be very satanic. Another Idi Amin. So let me continue. General Mobutu. Income, they say no, will they change the name? Because Zaire, it sounds more like an African name. Turan. Which make more sense. Turan. Or Inkabak. So they changed the name. So around 1997, they overthrow Mobutu. While also Salon, we own issue there. You know? While back we own issue, they continue. Because if we don't start, then 93, 94, but just not become, you know, too much of McKinney to go to the city. You know? So they overthrow this guy, Mobutu, 1997. And once they overthrow, they restore back the country in name to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Because they believe say the man count with nonsense. Well, inside Salon, before we continue, we'll get with national anthem. And not all of we sabi with national anthem today. Because the right time in the European time system, even if you sabi yourself, not all man able to interpret unless you understand English. You know? So to me, there was a time where they come up, they changed the national anthem to I Pledge. I pledge my love and loyalty to my country, Sierra Leone. I vow to serve her faithfully at all time. I promise to defend her, honor her good name, always work for unity, peace, freedom, and prosperity, and put her interests above all else. So help me God. So help me God. They make sure say all the secondary schools in a Salon land that will NPRC become about. Some of we are going to tell me I be glad because it represents us and represents we. Now we own words, so we understand her. But today, they don't forget her. We don't go back to the old national anthem. I just want to be fresh on my mind and boo. If you ask me for say the national anthem, I know we'll give 100%. But I look at you, you know. So they restored him to the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And after that, it don't take long, another civil war again erupted inside Congo. And Congo just don't come out from a civil war in 2003, not too long ago. So we can say maybe 2 decades, 20 years ago. Not too long ago. You know? And now then gets this, they can take place. Why? Why? And another last point I want to hit tonight, before we conclude now, because we don't reach to the end. Why DRC now one of the poorest countries in Africa? For all the minerals them, for all the resources them, for all the landscape, the geographical landscape, a huge, a big, they're supposed for the boom, this for don't be the center or the nexus of Africa. Outside trade, all things for going to take place. Then countries there. DRC now, Mali now, Chad now, for don't be the center point. But the white man not agree. So why make again this place here, then consider one of the poorest country? Light pointers then quick. They say lack of formal economical opportunities. Lack of formal economical or economic opportunities. We'll get what we call formal and informal. We always there about the informals. And that's Africa there about. Importation. Go buy and can sell. But formally, when they produce, when they create, when they do anything for create a transaction, we'll be able to create or raise capital for empower Africa. Because Africa right now are the biggest markets in the whole world. All the countries there, everything what they make, in Africa they sell to. Now we know what they buy, now we know the consumers them. Now we they spend, I make we pour up to this term. I make we pour up till today. Because we just like for spend. We no one create, make and sell. So the Chinese man they make and sell GUI, the Europeans they make and sell GUI, the Americans they make and sell GUI, the Australians they make and sell GUI. Like say we born meet them. But big fool. Even though Africa is a rich place. But some people there they know say now business they make their country strong. Now business make they able to create nuclear weapons to them. Now business they make they able to go to space. If I not like the data one they are create the company, they don't even set up places in that space for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, where they will just, nasty the world. They get about few population, maybe 20,000 population. We will go sit down that space for 5, 10 years. Once the conflict's done down, they come back. They can't control again the world. Because Africa no one think ahead. We no one think ahead. Human and then they plan for preserve. Then they plan for the future to come. Even if they don't exist, for them picking them to come, then generations then to exist to come. They always the plan for the future. But not so we. Who just no more for live for today. Why make I go concern about tomorrow? And this African man gets. The world on table corrupt. Wouldn't I mean we can create a difference? Why make I for concern about the world? Now with small thinking in this. Because you think say you're not enough for create a change. Because your mind is small. Because if your mind is big, you're able to expand internationally. You're able to reach people them. Because your mind, they go far. But when your mind small, not just small group, you go always there around. Small people them. Small people them. Nobody not gonna know you. Because your mind is small. So let me continue. So lack of formal economical opportunities. Another one, entrenched political conflict. Entrenched entrenched with the ENTRENCHED, political conflict. And what in this entrenched mean? Excuse me, pronunciation. What does it mean? Now, some sort of a belief, entrenched, political conflict. People then get certain belief with their system where they create some conflicts there. That's what I mean by entrenched. And that's not going to change. Now, something not easy for change. It's fixed. Now, let me continue. Then they talk of instability or instability, or something not stable. Anything not stable, it's not solid. It's not going to ever grow. To the next one, they say high rate of malnutrition. That means the people they eat fine. Malnutrition. But all the spend, the country landscape, the farmers them, the produce them, the people that still they eat fine. Because why? What them produce, maybe now they white money back, they go buy for cheap amount, then can go to the country, go manufacture, create into a brand, the same products so we can able to sell to we sell and eat. But when they sell them to them, then go create into a brand, they can't sell and give we back. Then we think say na better food. Because they don't go put on per box. They don't go processor. So up to now, malnutrition. People are not healthy inside this country. The DRC. The illness, the sickness, Siboku, inside the DRC. And the last but not least, poor education. Poor education. And all them variables they are just on stage so. Not so no more the DRC, no more they happen. No. Now the same thing that affects we all in Africa, including Salon. Now we sickness than this. Then specify this number for the DRC, but now Africa in sickness this. So again, what's in again? Then state. To me research. Then say the DRC Congo is the hardest place on earth for raise your family. And the hardest place on earth for raise your family. So man in the inside salon, you need to feel the pinch right now. We get the rich one but say not season. We get the poor one we get the middle class. But inside salon, I don't think so we get middle class too much. Whether you poor or you rich. Well, we just say you get. And two class we get. So we get people inside the DRC, we get money. But when they talk of the majority, the one way they suffer. So for some of you now can talk sense, some like one face can be full. The majority. You need to look at, the few where they live wealthy. Or where they show pictorial, pictures of, the DRC, the rich areas there. You say, Congo fine, but I'm not show you the poor areas there. I'm not taking outside the poor people and it. Outside the sufferness really they go on. Outside, the tribal issues and they take place. Outside the marginalized people there. The one way they suffer, not get hospitals in the areas them, not get schools them, not get any facility we go help them for be more productive. Just in case. Government's not care for them. And the conflicts in this. And it's simple. If we say no more, we'll get wise leaders them for narrow down the issues there, for put sense at the table and try to harmonize. It's so easy. But as long as the white money, the hand and dinner report, that follow they cook the hand and they day. Because I then go for pull give for it. As long as the hand and dinner report, we'll always take time to what they do. They control you like puppets. Because when you not follow through, that pot, food need to go meet you. Or that small capital where they go give you for you going bluff. You never get as a president or whatsoever. For let you live a temporary lifestyle who at the end of the day, they can knock you back down and take all away from you instant. So I make the biggest rebel who gets inside this West African coast right now. It don't make yang, it don't sit down quiet. But he thinks I forget about also. Alpha Condé inside Guinea. Alpha Condé a bad guy. Alpha Condé is well connected, well protected. And he sit down back inside the country with Mamadi, they say nothing they gone. You know? All what's in there be they blame him for, what people them be they vex for. Now people are all on mumu. Because you know how to play politics. You know? It's not a game, this is South Africa. When I don't close this topic, you know, I'll be planning to do this episode in the evening, but I just want to get out of the way so I go able to rest. Myself not feel too bright per se. You know, it don't begin to rain in salon. You know, the weather sometimes is cool, you know, it's warm, all of a sudden back it cold. So it can just change instantly, you just never know. You know, so if you need to sleep with clothes, eventually cold will enter you small, you know. But they try for, you know, pick up with pace. So hopefully, let me say today Monday, Wednesday we'll go pick up again, Wednesday, and we'll continue for push and knock down. You know, when I stay blessed, I'm the boy again, Tasmus, Lazy Savant, aka Bepeko. More wisdom, more fire, and we'll continue for learn and make this page a learning forum for all man. You know, stay blessed.